Hello, and thank you for joining me on this Space Marine 2 Assault Class PvP guide. The context and focus for this is going to be for newer people to PvP and people trying to learn the class, techniques, etc. This is by no means a comprehensive list of all strategies and tactics for the class. With that said, let's get into it. This will be a discussion on my thoughts on how to play the class, weapon guides, and what I kind of recommend generally, and a bit of a gallery at the end. To kind of start with how I feel you should play the class, the mentality you're going to go through, I think the best thing for newer people or people trying to play the class can hear is that you're going to want to play aggressive and agile. You're going to want to be moving from cover to cover, either using dashing or jump pack jets, jumps to get to the next location quicker, or however you want to do it, or even just running if you don't have any of that or it's not dangerous. You're going to be wanting to stay in cover because you're a 2 armor class and you'd be very weak at range in a gunfight, or if you get hit by one plasma ball from a heavy plasma, you're going to be in some deep trouble. So you're going to want to stick to cover when you're not engaged in combat. And that's about like maneuvering, but when it comes to engaging the enemy team, your main priority and your main thought process is going to be to break through or break up concentration of classes, especially heavy armor classes like bulwarks and heavies, especially multi-meltas and plasma cannons. If you can get the jump on them and disrupt them, get them looking around different directions, get them split up, get them disorientated, and while your teammates are pushing, that is a devastating combination. You can do a lot of good damage with that. And since those classes have 4 armor, they seem tanky, but against melee, your melee slams, all of that goes through armor and banner regen, and also the energy shield for heavy as well. So it's basically your main responsibility is to deal, as assault in a team, is to deal with these heavier armor classes and try and break them up and disrupt them so they don't roll around together, right? Okay, here's a clip about what I'm kind of talking about here. And engage in melee, clean them up. And now that the objective is secure, our enemies are dead, I move straight for the front lines because I know they're going to push in right now. I think it'd be a dumb idea to jump right now, so I just stay back and shoot because he was marked. I didn't need to expose myself. And this is a multi-melta bomb, melta bomb technique. I'll show you later. But I do that perfectly. I barely missed the first twirl. I hit him with the second one. And now we cleaned up. We ran through them. Me disrupting the enemies alongside with my teammate pushing the front lines was enough to break that entire assault. Alright, now let's get into some tactics for the class. The first one I'm going to be showing you is going to be a tactic I call heavies only. I feel the best way to describe this is that if you're ever in a situation as assault with Thunderhammer, it's a weapon I recommend, but if you're ever in a situation where you're about to engage in melee and you're not in the air or you don't have any jumps left and you have to be on the ground in melee, usually the best situation 90% of the time to 99% of the time is to just start ripping a heavy attack immediately. Even if your enemy gets the first swing on you with a couple different weapons, you can still kind of rip through it. I think the only weapon capable of potentially interrupting you is the Power Fist, but outside of that and them timing it right, they have no chance. If they're running Power Axe, Power Sword, Chain Sword, any melee weapon that isn't a Thunderhammer or Power Fist, and them already charging it up on before you do, if you start ripping yours first, charging it up, you'll win basically every melee engagement. And both, since the Thunderhammer it's technically classified as and functions as an explosive weapon, not as a like a slashing weapon or anything. It actually does damage in explosions. You can notice that, obviously. But I think the first swing is like an area effect swing, and then the second overhead slam is a explosion, which has a pretty decently sized radius. So if you can kind of figure out how to pair those up and how they work, and if you can use it in like a situation where you're being rushed in melee, you can kill like a whole team if they rush you in melee and you have that charged up. It's pretty good. So next idea I want to go over is the fourth slam or the free slam. Essentially what it is if you're on a ledge or whatever the situation is where an enemy is below you and you can step off the ledge above the enemy, you can actually hover and by aiming down sights, or I think using the right thumbstick on controller, and I'm not exactly sure for mouse and keyboard, but you can hover and it'll open up the reticle to do another slam even if you have three jumps left. So you can do that slam, jump, and do 3 slams, and at that point you've effectively done 4 slams. And if you chain those together, you have 4 slams, which is one more than obviously theoretically they considered you being able to do. I don't think it's a glitch or anything. I just think it's a bit of an oversight because now you have 4 slams and you could just devastate an objective if you kind of consciously do this. It doesn't work in every situation, but it is something worthwhile to consider. If you, as assault, you're typically going to be in the air. If you notice someone's below you, you can step off, trigger it, slam into them, and you still have all your jump packs left. You didn't waste a single thing. And it's more stealth and covert because you're not jumping into the air. You're just floating there and then slamming. It's a bit harder to notice. The next idea I'm going to be showing you is something called melt-a-bombing, or melt-a-bomb, using melt-a-bombs. On assault, I find melt-a-bombs have a unique role because you can essentially use them as bombs. You can end bomb locations by throwing them from the top of your jump, right? You jump up all the way, hover, throw a bomb, and it actually has quite a long range actually once you get to the top. And if you can get to the point to where you can gauge the range accurately, you can actually have the bomb end up right past the cover, detonate, and kill anyone behind the cover. And if you're all the way in the air, the range on it's pretty far, and you can actually get it pretty consistently, and from cover as well, if you're a bit clever about it. And also, you can also air burst it. So if you're very high in the air, you can be all the way up, jump, and air burst it kind of above. It takes a bit more timing to get that down, but it is a bit more consistent because it'll detonate in the air and people won't recognize it, right? Compared to where if it lands right next to them, a good bulwark can turn the shield quick enough, or someone clever enough who sees might be able to get away from the insta-kill radius, right? And they can just get really damaged or whatever. But generally it's very devastating and it can wipe out whole teams. I think the most I've gotten is 4 kills with it, 4 or 5, but I'm pretty sure it was at least 4. I get 3 doubles and 3 triples pretty consistently with it. And even moderately high level players will forget that it's a thing and they clump up, and you can, if they clump up and they don't have an energy shield or the storm shield that bulwark has, they're getting nuked and they're gonna die. Next idea I'm gonna be showing you is dash melee into bulwarks, right? So if you see a bulwark, you can hit the jump pack and do the light attack, and it's a unique animation. It's actually faster than the light attack or the lunge attack. It's a unique animation for the jump pack, which is interesting. But it is much quicker, so you can actually hit the jump pack, do the attack, and it will, if the bulwark is holding up their shield, it will stagger them. It won't damage them, but it will stagger them. And with that stagger, you actually get an opening to do a heavy attack, and that's where you can kill them. And if you happen to hit them from the back, like I did right there, they will be a 1 hit to the heavy attack you do next, right? But you see, in this case, they're holding the shield up, and I just chain stagger them. There you go. And it is much faster to dash, to hit the jump pack and do that melee attack, than it is to do the lunge attack or a light attack or something like that. It's a lot quicker, in my opinion, a really good way to handle bulwarks. If they're not used to the attack, you can definitely get a consistent stagger on them. Let's go on to the weapons, favorite part. For melee, there's basically only 2 real options for assault. You're either going to want to run the Thunderhammer or the Power Sword. They're both pretty viable on assault. Thunderhammer takes the cake just because it's so much deadlier. It has in close quarters melee combat. I mean, its heavy attack can kill like an entire group of people. The Power Sword's twirl one can as well, but it's a bit more involved because you have to do the light attack first, and then it opens up the heavy attack or the twirl attack. Compared to assault, you can just rip the heavy attack and kill a group whenever you want, basically. So I generally recommend the Thunderhammer as soon as possible. Power Sword is a great option as well if you want to switch it up. It's very viable. So those are the two weapons I recommend. But for newer people, Thunderhammer all the way. The secondary pistol, man, I'm gonna have to go with the heavy bolt pistol here. It's probably the best all around. If you use a remote controller aim assist like I do, it's pretty good because it'll always hit its shots basically. The aim assist in this game is very strong. Blame Saber, not me. Um, so yes, but however, the standard bolt pistol is pretty good, but it just loses to the heavy bolt pistol. I do find the Melta pistol or Inferno pistol, as it's called in game, is also viable on assault, especially because it's close quarters. Um, but I just find it's better to have some ranged potential instead of everything being purely close combat. Because there's times where you'll need to get like a shot off on an enemy that's a little bit farther away just to secure a kill or whatever, and that's where the heavy bolt pistol comes in. And for equipment, grenades basically, I'm gonna have to recommend the Melta Bomb, obviously, so you can practice that. I've been doing that since the game launched, basically. I think it was like week 2 or something, or the first month. One of the guys from the team basically shows, oh hey, you should jump and throw Melta Bomb. It's awesome. So I have it down like like the back of my. I know it like the back of my hand. I know the arc and stuff like that. But if you just practice with getting those Melta Bombs right, it's devastating. But there is a place if you feel like you can't do that, or if you feel you don't want to do that, or if you feel like the map is too closed off and you're not able to get up in the air to do the bombs, or whatever the situation may be. Stun grenades actually fill a really good role for assault because you can blind them, and then that opens up your melee, or you can blind them, jump and slam them, or disengage or maneuver or whatever the situation is. I find stun is always a viable option for basically every class, but since Melta Bomb can be used to bomb people basically without them knowing, or like having to put extra mind power to counteract you doing that, I feel that's the best way to go. And next up, we'll have a little gallery for you guys, and I hope you enjoy. Thank you so much for watching, and good hunting.